Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. So check this out from Scams Are Bad, Scam Detective 5, which I know some of you guys have a problem with. Look at what he's insinuating now. Okay, the goal is to drive XRP speculation trading volume, and he points out influencer engagement, spark speculation about potential partnerships. Congratulations, you were played. Now, I don't know. Was this from the Hinman documents? I'm not entirely sure. This is an email that looks like it was sent from Patrick Griffin from Ripple. So no, this doesn't look like it would be Hinman related, but it looks like an email that somebody got from a leak or something to Miguel Viaz. FYI, Brad likes the plan, but like me has concerns about what is achievable. Just another data point on the pipeline evaluation we will go through this week. So it looks as though they are suggesting that influencer speculation is what is going to help drive XRP speculative trading volume. We've made a ton of great progress this week on Q2 planning for all things XRP. The goal is to drive XRP speculative trading volume. We've organized the tactics against the following themes. And one of those things here, guys, was influencer engagement. So yes, YouTubers, people on Twitter, sparking speculation about potential partnerships. Now, I don't know about you, but I have yet to see a paycheck, guys, from Ripple. And if I'm missing out on something, please somebody tell me where to sign up. He's saying that Ripple has been paying influencers to talk about XRP and to drive speculative liquidity. BitGo, he mentions down here, Kraken, enterprise validators form and announce a federation of enterprise and central bank statements about the utility of XRP. So, I mean, again, I don't know where he's getting this from. I know I can tell you guys, full disclosure, I am not being paid by Ripple, and I don't think a lot of us are. If any, I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm being scammed by not getting paid. Scams, I don't get it. If this is such a bad company doing bad things, then why does your uncle continue to not only be employed by Ripple, but also holds stocks? He also owns XRP. Why? He's talented and wealthy enough to either go elsewhere or retire. It doesn't make any sense. So questioning his motivations here, we know Scams Detective has been very negative on Ripple and XRP, trying to bring the FUD, and a lot of people have been challenging him on this. What a ridiculous question. Of course not. Sand says, is this legit? Where is the source? And Scam Detective says, yes, it's from just from last week, a June 13th filing in the court case. Things that make you go, Sammy here also bringing this up. At the very least, we can say that these guys are getting paid to shill. So bringing up the XRP community poster, one of the more recent ones. And again, it's very, very, very unlikely that Ripple is paying these influencers. Like I said, I'm not getting paid. And if there is a payday, where do I sign up? Because I've been doing this completely independently. Anyway, just wanted to put that to bed. I mean, we got to be careful the kind of information we come across in this space. And so just wanted to let you guys know about this one. To give you something to think about. Mike Manfield here bringing this up. Okay, Ripple partner Thunes is opening a Beijing office. So Thunes is opening a Beijing office. UK-based payment infrastructure fintech Thunes has opened an office in Beijing as part of its Chinese expansion plans. It is the company's first registered entity in China, and it is backed with an investment of about 100 million CNY, so Chinese yuan. In the first 12 months, Thunes hopes to employ 60 people, thereby doubling the current number of employees. According to Thunes, the move demonstrates the company's commitment to empowering Chinese businesses and consumers by providing faster and more affordable transactions with key international markets. It also signifies the Chinese authorities' ambition to establish Beijing as a fintech hub. The establishment of Thunes China is another achievement of Beijing in terms of its development and opening up the financial industry. So we're seeing companies like Thunes, Ripple-partnered companies, expanding into new markets, in this case China, which is a huge market. So wanted to thank Mike for pointing that out. Also happen to see this guy's from the Wrath of Kahneman, a working paper, The Rise of E-Wallets and BNPL. Now, guys, this was funded by Ripple's initiative, the UBRI initiative, which includes universities that are trying to promote blockchain and DLT development. They came out with this, okay, and I'm just going to go over the conclusion here because it is a fairly lengthy paper, but I will link it in the description if you guys are interested in this. Let me just read you guys some of this conclusion, just to give you guys a sense of what this is about. So digital wallets, buy now, pay later, have seen exponential growth around the globe. And we know the pandemic was partly responsible for that. Yet their inner workings, the link between digital payments and consumer credit and the effect of BNPL on consumer behavior are little understood, especially in economies transitioning from being cash heavy to cashless, which have seen the largest market growth and potential. We conducted the first integration into black boxes of e-wallets to better understand digital payment competition, fintech credit provision to households and their implications for consumer spending and debt management. Internal payment options in e-wallets dominate external options, with BNPL crowding out other payment choices while completing credit cards for small value purchases. So they're obviously doing a study here and clearly seeing the benefit for these types of buy now, pay later services. And they're looking at it in less developed regions. I mean, generally in the Western world, this type of thing isn't really, new, but for other economies, cash heavy economies, as they mention here, this type of technology could be very groundbreaking. Utilizing large scale matched BNPL transactions that we observed directly for the first time in this literature, as well as the randomized controlled experiment conducted by the e-wallet provider, we also find that BNPL significantly boosts consumption. Yet consumers, especially those who rely solely on BNPL for credit access, are careful with overspending and indebtedness, contrasting with studies on BNPL using bank data or surveys from developed countries where BNPL providers are often stated with pure play merchant partner models. Our paper highlights that introducing BNPL through super apps with proper screening and well-designed incentives can lead to opposite outcomes in consumer indebtedness and loan defaults. Overall, our findings suggest that e-wallet credit in the form of BNPL is becoming a new form of cash and seems to facilitate financial inclusion. So they are finding positive results. And even though they're not looking at specific Ripple technology per se, it is Ripple that is partially responsible for funding this research. So thought that was kind of interesting. Again, Ripple is going to definitely benefit from this, guys. The whole world running on cryptocurrency means that every single crypto company, the ones that solve problems, of course, those crypto companies are going to benefit the most because they have skin in the game. They have technology that works. They have products that can be utilized. And so, we got to get people on board. The world needs to be educated about crypto tech. And this has been, one of the mandates of Ripple from the beginning. Anyway, wanted to thank the Wrath of Kahneman for posting that. Check this out, guys, from Ian Binns. Ripple has been selected as a platinum sponsor for the international conference WebX. That is happening in Japan, guys, and let me just translate that for you guys. Ripple selected as platinum sponsor. Asia's largest Web3 conference, WebX, hosted by WebX Executive Committee and planned and operated by CoinPost, will be held on Tuesday, July the 25th, 2023. It will be held for 2 days at the Tokyo International Forum. We are pleased to announce that Ripple, an industry leader in providing blockchain and crypto solutions for enterprises, has been selected as the title sponsor for this conference. So you guys can see that there, July 25th, 26th, 2023. Ripple is going to be heading this up, the Web3 conference in Japan, and the event will feature Emi Yoshikawa, Vice President of Strategy and Operations, and David Schwartz, CTO at Ripple. A side event hosted by Ripple will also be held during the conference. So just another piece of news, of course, Ripple is very prominent in Japan, and here they're being chosen to be a platinum sponsor at this particular event. So I wanted to thank Ian for posting that. The big news, guys, that we got the other day was the unified ledger. More updates on that. We recently talking about the BIS's plans for a unified ledger. Augustin Karstens was the one who was revealing that a few weeks ago. I'll see if I can find a video and I'll link that up here in the top right-hand corner. But it looks as though we're getting even more info, guys. Okay, so unified ledger. These guys are saying, okay, this would be a game changer in how we think about money and how transactions take place. This coming from the central bank head, Hyung Song Shin, okay, a new type of market infrastructure in the form of a unified electric ledger could enhance the global financial system. This ledger, proposed by an umbrella group of central banks as part of its annual economic report, could combine central bank digital currencies along with tokenized money and assets on one platform with the help of automated smart contracts that power transactions on blockchains, including Ethereum. Bringing together central bank money, commercial money, and different assets on the same platform, all tokenized and interacting, opens up a whole new range of possibilities. So again, this is a more recent report from just yesterday, but they were also talking about this a few weeks ago. But elaborating now, it's interesting because we're seeing how this is all going to connect. And I'm going to get into it, okay? The current monetary system is now seamless because databases must be connected by third-party messaging systems such as Swift. So we know that is antiquated technology, and we can do better, and they have done better. A new unified ledger would eliminate delays and uncertainty, the report said. This envisioned finance system would, according to the BIS, provide new methods for security settlement, combining all individual steps into one transaction and enable tokenized deposits with built-in regulatory checks for wholesale CBDCs. The unified ledger proposed by the BIS may exceed in scope a similar combined platform envisioned by the International Monetary Fund for CBDCs. So we've got the BIS, the IMF working together. We talked a little bit about Tobias Adrian and that connection to Ripple. I did a video on that just the other day. I'll link that up here. And here's a quote, guys. We are on the cusp of another major leap in the monetary and financial system, which will have far-reaching consequences for the economy and society at large, said Shin. This would be a game changer in how we think about money and how transactions take place. So the unified ledger, guys, let me remind you, and I got to give credit to Danny Dark here on Twitter. Who said this about atomic settlement? This report just came out yesterday, okay, June 20th, 2023. The full report is here, and I will link this in the, will I link this in the description of the video? I don't know if it's a separate PDF. Yeah, okay, I'll link this in the description of the video. The report is here. It is basically the PDF of the full thing, but Danny Dark here highlights the real gold here. He says, some will find the highlight of the BIS Unified Ledger report to be interlinking through APIs. But if you look closely, the real gold is atomic settlement. Now, let me explain, okay? For those of you guys who may not have been here that long, we're talking Unified Ledger, gives you guys a bit of a flow chart to explain how that works. But over here, however, because APIs involve multiple systems with different operators and protocols, API implementations cannot achieve atomic settlement. That is the gold. Graph B shows 3 different models that range from the smallest incremental enhancements to a fully fledged unified ledger. In the third model, wholesale CBDCs, tokenized private monies, and tokenized assets coexist on a fully fledged unified ledger. Wholesale CBDCs could be provided in 2 ways. In the first, CBDCs may take the form of central bank liability that is issued directly on the unified ledger. Alternatively, the central bank could tokenize existing reserves using the API that connects the unified ledger to the current reserve system. The system supports settlement finality and atomic settlement for transactions involving wholesale CBDCs, private tokenized monies, and tokenized assets. So they really are looking at atomic settlement here as being of key importance. Let me continue, guys. A unified ledger could improve the way payments are executed. Having private tokenized money and CBDCs on the same platform eliminates the need for the sequential messages across siloed databases. This enables so-called atomic settlement, in which 2 assets are exchanged simultaneously, such that the transfer of one occurs only upon transfer of the other. The process settlement, i.e. wholesale leg of the payment from one intermediary to another, also occurs instantaneously in a wholesale CBDC. At the same time, the use of a partitioned data environment with appropriate access controls allows full transparency for the transacting parties while keeping the transaction private from those who are not involved. Finally, by combining messaging and payment rails on the same platform, the ledger eliminates delays in the payment process, thereby mitigating settlement risk. Security settlement could benefit greatly from an execution on this unified ledger. Another important use case is the mitigation of settlement risk in the multi-trillion-dollar FX market. So talking about all these different types of transactions, of course, we know the XRP ledger built to handle essentially the transfer of anything of value to something else of value. You can trade cryptos for gold or gold for real estate or anything really. Exiting, netting, and payment versus payment or PVP mechanisms help to mitigate settlement risk, but you do not fully eliminate it. Not at least existing PVP arrangements are at the time unavailable, unsuitable for some trades, or deemed too costly by market participants. But atomic settlement around the clock instead could eliminate the settlement lags. Moreover, smart contracts that combine currencies with authorized FX providers could allow more currencies to be integrated on a common platform at a lower cost, expanding the scope of PVP arrangements. So guys, you're noticing a trend here. Atomic settlement, something that Ripple has been working on for several years now. So here's another document here, Transforming Global Payments, an older document from 2018, Sovereignty with Interoperability. Central banks can offer liquidity when constrained via commercial banks. Smaller banks can leverage central bank reserves to conduct cross-border transactions. All legs are atomic for certainty of settlement. Let me read that again. All legs are atomic for certainty of settlement, 24/7 in real time for all use cases. Interoperability via ILP can connect existing networks as well. And then gives you guys a specific example here, atomic settlements via central banks. Now, to add the icing on the cake, guys, I guess maybe for some of you, you might want to know what atomic settlement is. So I will leave this definition in the description of the video, defined as the instant exchange of 2 assets that are linked, such that the transfer of one occurs only upon transfer of another. That is atomic settlement. But guess who else was mentioning this in 2019? Now, this is a tweet thread here discussing exploring the institution adoption of crypto in a fireside chat again from 2019. So from early on, but some prominent players in the XRP community were discussing this in detail even back then, and they got Bob Way in on the conversation, an early dev who worked at Ripple. Now, Bob, when he was discussing this, he mentioned this particularly. Let me read you guys this sentence here. Once you have atomic settlement via two central banks, basically the exact thing Ripple had been working on since at least 2018, probably before that. Atomic settlement with central banks. He says the game is over. Every other central bank will follow. Otherwise, their country would be at a significant disadvantage. So, fast forward to 2023, enter the unified ledger, and now the ability for atomic settlement, something that Ripple has been working on for years, guys. And this brand new BIS report from June 20th, 2023, from just yesterday, the blueprint for the future money system, improving the old, enabling the new. So now, the banks that have not partnered with Ripple, are we going to see them jump on board very quickly, as they would obviously be left behind as per Bob Way? I don't know, it's just an opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.